Welcome to Foosball, where you can't get CTE if you're always concussed. Now, you might be concussed just from watching football, or just thinking about football might make you concussed at this point. Down is up, left is right. Jackson Dart, the best quarterback in the history of the NFL.
I'm pretty sure we all have CTE, or it's called being 40, because this is also called offensive, not foosball. But like,
that's true, right? Yeah. I can't remember what show we're on.
We've been headbutting way too much, is what's been happening.
When in the pre-show, when we get ready for the show, all we do is just headbutt each other. It's all we do.
I mean, we've been doing that.
It works. Like, it gets results. You know what I mean? You can beat the Philadelphia Eagles by 20 points.
Yeah, Scadaboo stole that.
Super amazing show. We're going to talk about the upcoming games this weekend. And, we can talk a little bit about that game too. But we'll have Neckbeard's going to guide us through this weekend's upcoming games.
All right, so let's pull up the schedule because I want to kind of take a look at it. So, yes, we all know the Eagles finally got what was coming to them. They lost barely in Denver last week. But let's be honest, they kind of almost lost to the Rams. They almost lost to the Chiefs, right? They almost lost to
and if you remember 2 years ago, they totally fell apart. Like, not last year they won the Super Bowl, but 2 years ago they fell apart and couldn't win a game when they just got one off the rails.
Saquon has not gotten going all year, and it's continuing to happen. So I don't know if he's going to get going.
Teams know they can't throw the ball deep, right? They just load the box against Saquon.
Well, they don't throw the ball mid either. So it's like, if you only have to cover short and deep passes, like, that's pretty easy to go against. And, you know, they did that to an effect last year, but when you're running for 6.5 yards a carry, like, that opens up the game.
It's true. Their offense is like under 1 yard. It's their
it's bad. Right? Yeah. So go Jackson Dart and Scadaboo. The Giants are fun to watch now. Like, they haven't been fun to watch in like 10 years, I feel like. So it's nice that the Giants
forever. The Eli Manning offense.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Well, that was never fun to watch. One thing about Saquon is he's the classic 2,000-yard rusher who had 480 touches last year. And every time you have a running back with over 300 touches, they always step down the next year.
Yep.
Partner with that is their offensive line. They lost Mekhi Becton, who was their guard. He looked fantastic last year. They had another player who was out. So the offensive line, they're not as cohesive as they were last year. They all got a year older. So everyone's getting a year older. So it'd be nice to be frozen in time to be elite. But eventually, if you don't have something to mix it up. So I think that's part of why we're seeing the Eagles, fall flat a little bit. I don't know that Saquon's going to be able to bounce back this year. He might just be what he is right now. And next year could be his bounce back, but he's old, man.
Yeah.
For what his body did last year.
Some 120-yard games or some 2-touchdown games, but that was the norm last year, to where now it's going to be the outlier, right? The norm seems like 80 to 90 total yards or something like that.
So last night, Scadaboo got 3 touchdowns, right? And realistically, if they weren't already winning and blowing them out with the 2-minute drill, he had a shot to pull an Al Bundy and go for 4 touchdowns in a single game.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, so he's played 6 games. He's had a 3-touchdown game already. How many 3-touchdown games do you think Saquon Barkley has had? 3 rushing touchdowns.
In this year, you mean?
No, like in his career.
In his career, in 90-plus games. It's somewhere between 90 and 100 games. How many 3-touchdown?
Like 3 or 4?
2.
None.
That doesn't sound right at all.
He was playing behind the New York Giants offensive line for a number of years.
Yeah.
And he's been playing against this elite offensive line. He's never had 3 rushing touchdowns. Bring in the human brick wall. It's just a crazy, goofy ass stat. But yeah, Scadaboo, the greatest running back in the NFL for Giants fans. It's just a fun, weird stat. That's why.
Yeah, that is a weird
fun game. My son woke up yesterday morning. He's like, "Oh, what's the game tonight? Oh, are the Giants going to be good?" I'm like, "Nah, it's probably I should go to bed at the same time as you guys." And my son was right. He's like, "No, I think the Giants have a shot." Sure.
Yeah, the Giants kind of owned them the whole second half. They owned them. It wasn't even close, really. I mean, they just kept, getting better and better and into the game. And to go back to Saquon, I know he's had 3 touchdown games, but I think it's because of passing or receiving and rushing touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's never been just 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That is a cool stat, though. That's really interesting. So go Scatterboo. All right, so let's move on. Good job, Giants. Eagles fall back down to earth. They're 4-2. Now we got the team that beat them last week, the Broncos, going against the disgustingly ugly Jets and the worst defense I've seen all year, and that includes the Ravens, who don't have most of their starters. So, Doug, what's Denver saying about this game? Do they think the Broncos are going to win 87-0?
Denver Bronco radio and fans love to talk up the other team to prepare to get get crushed by a shitty team. You know what I mean? Radio is all like, hey, you think the Jets are bad, but they're actually really good. They should actually be 3-2. Here's some stats that show the Jets are really elected. They have the third best rushing offense in the league and blah, blah, blah. They're like, if you actually watch the games, the Jets are super good. And it's like, bro, if you're a real legit good NFL team, the Jets should not concern you whatsoever. Of course you don't want to overlook them, but you shouldn't be talking up how great the Jets are. If you're a top 5, maybe top 7 NFL team, you should crush the Jets. They're just the most dysfunctional, terrible. Their defense isn't even good. So yeah, right now the Broncos are kind of in that mode where they're they can't decide whether they're a good team or not. They're not really sure.
Well, you know what's funny too is everyone's like, oh, that's the signature win, the win against the Eagles last week that they pulled off at the end.
But now they got crushed by the Giants.
Yeah, and the Eagles were stepping on their own feet most of that game. That ended up causing the Broncos to win. So the Eagles kind of got in their own way, and then a Giants team that has not looked very good all year, except for the Chargers game. To be fair, they did look pretty good in that. They just went out and rocked the Eagles. So it's that Broncos win seems way less impressive. Immediately, it seems
it's one of those teams where games where the Broncos have a lot of talent on defense, right? In defense secondary, and it's I don't know if the Broncos are coached well or they're figured it out yet. They're just relying on their team, and Bo Nix and kind of Jackson Dart are kind of similar, where they're just here and there making a few really nice plays, and the other team is not. So you do give them credit. But they're not. No one's literally saying here Jackson Dart's a top 5 NFL quarterback, even though he looked like one last night, right?
I mean, for what he's doing in that offense is what I think Dave said it, and I hate to admit it, but he is a better version of Daniel Jones because he's running the ball when he needs to. He's not throwing for a ton of yards. But, when the running game works in New York, it makes everything else function. So.
And Bo Nix is kind of doing that a little bit with the Broncos too, though.
Yeah,
kind of quarterback.
But so do you think the Broncos win in a blowout? Do you think it's a close game? Because this is an international game, guys. And international games are crazy. I feel like it could be literally the Jets could win by 15. It's international games make no sense. All kinds of weird stuff happens.
And the Broncos just don't have enough talent to blow out teams, really, unless they're getting they have to really, just have one of those games where they're playing out of their minds, but they don't really.
But we still think the Broncos are going to pull this one out. Are we all saying Broncos?
Yeah, I say Broncos. It'll be closer than it should be just because everyone's going to be all jet lagged from having to go over the pond.
Yeah, I don't know. The Jets, I don't think they're going to lose 16 games. I think
Denver's favored by almost a touchdown, and I almost would take that points there. I think the Jets keep it
I take the points. And the funny thing is when they try to say, the Jets, they aren't that bad. Their rushing offense is awesome. The Bears had the same thing when they had Justin Fields because he adds on yards, that your running backs don't have. But the detriment to that is your passing game is also bottom 3 in the league.
Exactly. I was going to say, if you got Justin Fields, you have to be a top 5 rushing team because you're a bottom 10 passing team.
And Fields has finally figured out how to bait the guys to come up on the run and then throw it, actually, because he used to be not so good. So he's improved a little bit in that area.
Sure.
And he used to be not so good. He's still not so good from the passing standpoint.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Seahawks Jaguars, which I think is an awesome matchup, honestly. After the Jags go and beat Kansas City, Seahawks barely lose to Bake Show, right? But again, before that game, Seahawks had the lowest points allowed in the league because their defense is pretty good. Jags defense has been really good. So, I mean, what do we think about this one? Because honestly, this is one of those games where I see two teams that are on the cusp of being good or are we sure they're good? And it's going to be either really interesting if it's a really close game or maybe one team dominates. But I think I'm taking Seattle in this game. I think after the win over Kansas City and the Trevor Lawrence greatest play of the season, but fumble style moment.
Right.
I think the Jags might slip up a little bit here, so I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Seattle and Sam Darnold have just a little bit more he's taller maybe, but Sam Darnold I just trust a little bit more.
Horse base is 6'6".
Yeah.
He's got a long face.
No
That's
more.
a fact. He does. He does got a long face. He's a beautiful man, though. Come on, we all know
He's
it. But dude, honestly, I feel like if the Jags win this, just like the Colts, I got to be like, damn, this team might be good. And even though Seattle's not like a top tier team, these are the games at home that you have to win when you're good. Do you know what I mean? Like against competition that's equal to you. If you're at home, you're supposed to win these games. So I think
Hype, you like Seahawks?
I think the Seahawks would win this game, but I would not be shocked if Jacksonville figures out a way, because I feel like it's one of those Seattle's one of those teams where like we're not sure how really good they are. Like they going to play down the competition? Like not to say that Jacksonville's bad,
right.
but like you might overlook Jacksonville and might end up losing.
Well, that's the hell of it though, because I think before the season we both have been in like 2 500 teams, but now you see both of these teams and they're playing smash mouth defense. They're playing really interesting offenses right now. Even though the top 2 wide receivers who we imagine as being the top 2 wide receivers for the Jags, they're not playing like we thought they would. They're getting enough from the peripherals and whatnot. ETN, seeing him resurrect his season, I think that's going to be interesting. And you might say, maybe they have a little bit of letdown because maybe they got so hyped for playing the Chiefs last week.
Right.
But at the same time, you also have the Seahawks where they're butthurt because they had an amazing game last week and they came short in the end. That was at home, right?
Yeah,
so I think they could. I think that they could be angry.
Yeah.
But
now this is a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast in the morning, Dave. I know you hate that, and that.
Oh, this isn't just staying on the same latitude. This is way up here, flying down there, so that adds an extra hour and a half of jet lag.
Yep.
Which, again, that used to be a thing, and there's so many interesting aspects to this, and I think both of these teams are like tier 2. Who I think everyone would agree are maybe tier 2 teams now. You didn't think that they were elite before the season, but now they both kind of played their way up, and now we can kind of see, okay, we're definitely going to put one of them at the top of the tier 2. Maybe this isn't enough to put one in the tier 1, but who the hell knows? The way that this season has been going, I think this is a fantastic game of the week. This is a great litmus test for both teams. And the Jags, they're not going to rest on the laurels. They want to defend the home turf. So I think they're going to eke it out, but I think this could be one of those where it's like 25-27, some crazy game, high scoring. It'll come down to the end, and it's just going to be a mad game. It's a great way to start the day because I'm not going to get up early to watch that London game. I'm sorry, or wherever that game is played. I think this is a great way to kick off the day.
I love it. I'm really looking forward to this game. So let me kind of group the next couple. So Chargers, Dolphins, Rams, Baltimore, Cardinals, Colts, and I'll even throw Patriots, Saints in there. Now, those games seem like there should be an obvious and clear better team, right? So I guess my question is for those 4 games, which seem pretty obvious, like Chargers are definitely better. The Ravens look terrible, so the Rams should smoke them. We've agreed the Colts are legit, so they should absolutely beat the Cardinals no matter what. And based on the way the Patriots looked last week against the Bills and the week before against the Jaguars, I believe, or the Panthers, excuse me, they've looked pretty good. They should go beat the Saints. Do we see any of those 4 games where the team that shouldn't win actually has a chance? Because I've got one, and I'm curious if you guys see any of those 4 quote-unquote not good teams winning any of these games.
I think that the quote-unquote Chargers are in trouble right now. They could like lose a game here. They're kind of falling apart and losing some of their key players, and like all these players that stepped up and played well in the first week of the season. The Chargers might be kind of the team like similar to the Saints last year, where the first 4 games they look great, and then the rest of the season they're just super mid.
They didn't look great last week. I mean, no running back. Both of their tackles are out. Yeah. Herbert doesn't look good. That's the game I was thinking. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think it's in Miami. The Chargers are coming from the West Coast. Like we said, I know that's not always a thing, but it's kind of a thing. It's an early morning game on the East Coast. The Dolphins, they've kind of messed up things here and there, but they still got enough talent to win some football
games.
Darren
Waller, baby.
Yeah, dude. Darren Waller.
Waddle, baby.
Changes that offense because where does Tua like to throw? 8 to 12 yards. And that's where Waller eats. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is, again, I can't understand why they ever traded for Tyreek Hill because him and Tua are like oil and water. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, Darren Waller lives right in the zone where Tua likes to live, and it changes the offense. You could already see it last week. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think the Chargers are in full-on cyclone down mode and just not having their running backs, 2 tackles out. Like, that's just a lot.
It's Miami. It's not a cyclone. It's a hurricane.
Yeah, fair enough.
Where's
fair
your
enough.
meteorology, man?
Yeah, knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah,
there is a real
I was
hurricane.
thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing too. It's
Yeah. Okay, so that one stands out to all of us.
That's
okay?
unanimous right there.
All right, we're calling it upset. We're going to say that the Dolphins win this game. I love it. And we all say Chargers, Colts, Patriots in the other game, right? Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go on to a more interesting game. Cowboys, Panthers. Now, this might seem like an obvious win for the Cowboys, but I actually really like this matchup. I think like we talked about earlier in the season, Dave, I think the Panthers defense is a little underrated. It was really bad last year, but they got some of their tools back. Yes, they've had some stinkers, but I think they're good enough to where if the Panthers get a turnover in this game, because the Dallas offense looks unstoppable, I'm not going to lie. I feel a little bit better. Again, they did play the Jets, who are terrible, but I feel a little bit better than the fact that Dallas is scoring like 35 on everybody they play. The Packers game doesn't look as bad. So they're probably going to score 30 in this game, but I think the Panthers might get a sneaky turnover. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to control the clock. They're going to be able to throw the ball deep because, Bryce Young, even though he's a small dude, he's actually got a pretty good arm. He can throw the ball downfield halfway decently. He's definitely not Josh Allen or Lamar or any of these guys, right? Or Burrow, but like he can throw the ball decently enough. And with his tall receivers, that's what you want to do on Dallas is test it deep.
And let's also not forget about your favorite running back who you got for me in the offseason two off seasons ago. I'm like, this guy's a little idiot. What am I going to do with Rico Dowdle, who I got from Hype? I'm like, I don't really care about this guy. Here you go. He's a nothing to me. Then you wrote him on Dallas last year. He had a pretty good season for Dallas.
He did.
Dallas decided, we don't really need you. So he goes over to Carolina. Chuba Hubbard has already been ruled out. How did Rico do last week?
35 fantasy points, baby.
Yeah, he got almost 200 yards, right?
Yep. He was a beast.
Dallas's run defense, it's still a work in progress. It's nice that they have Kenny Clark, but it still ain't what it is. So that could be an interesting enough dynamic to it. That could make this a very fun game. Dallas, that they want to say that they're a playoff team. They need to win at least 10 games. They have a rough end of the schedule. So I think this is a game they can't afford to lose. Again, I love that offense, but I think that Carolina could keep this interesting. And I think this will be a really fun game to watch as well.
I think either way, there's going to be a bunch of points. I think every Dallas game this year is going to be fun to watch. I just think they're kind of built like the Bengals were last year, where their defense is useless but makes some plays, and their offense is just super efficient and good. And so for now, I think Dallas is going to be exciting to watch every game. But I really like this Panthers matchup because I still think the Panthers are going to take a step in the right direction this year. I know, again, they've had some stinker games, but they've had some good games. I really want to see if the Panthers show up and make this a game, or if they find a way to win. It's like, okay, these are the teams that, like, if you're in these one-score games, you got to find a way to win. So I want to see if the Panthers have it in them. So, I'm excited for that. Okay, so let's move on to the AFC North, where we got the Browns at the Steelers. Now, this seems like another obvious game, but it's a conference game. The Browns always play the Steelers really tough, and Dillon Gabriel, maybe he's decent. What do we think? Do we think the Steelers have an easy win here, or do we think the Browns could steal one from them? I think the Steelers are going to win in the ugliest way possible, which is the only way they know how. I still am picking Steelers, but I think the Browns make this a game. I think they make a game of it.
You're going to have a game that has two quarterbacks that are just going to do short passing game the entire time, quick short passes. Aaron Rodgers, that's all he's really got left of his noodle. Metcalf had a great game the other week, but I think they're going to utilize the tight ends and lean on that run game. I think Warren was coming off the injury report, so he might be there, but I think that's going to be a tough defense for Aaron Rodgers to go against. Whoever scores 17 points wins this game. And that, again, like you said, Dillon Gabriel, he can score. He might be able to score 17 points against this aging defense. This will not be a fun game to watch. But if if you're blessed with living in Pittsburgh or Cleveland, what else are you going to do? Just sit up and watch it.
Go ahead.
After we saw the Giants just dismantle the Eagles, what's to stop the Browns from doing a similar thing and just having Dillon Gabriel running around, making a few plays? Because they have a really good defense. Their defense better than the Steelers. These Steelers defense isn't that good.
Yeah.
And all the pressure's on the Steelers. All the pressure's on Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, they're in first place. They're in a bad division with it. They should just easily win. All the pressure is on the Steelers. There's no pressure on the Browns whatsoever. It makes for like a really interesting game. And like, I don't know. I could easily see the Browns winning this game right now.
No, this is an interesting factoid. So the Steelers, now that Aaron Rodgers and then in that division, every single quarterback that started for week 1 for the in-conference teams is now off the team or injured. So Lamar's hurt, Burrow's hurt, and Flacco is gone. So all the quarterbacks are different right now in the NFC North, except for old man Rodgers, right? Isn't that crazy?
Ridiculous.
It seems like everything's falling in place for the Steelers to go to the playoffs, but I've got a sneaky suspicion one single turnover in this game, especially early in the game from Cleveland, could turn this game on its head, and Cleveland could sneak one out in Pittsburgh, because you can never discount these interdivisional games. Like you just can't. Right. Anybody could win at any time. So I think the Browns are a trap game a little bit for the Steelers right here. All right, Titans Raiders. Who cares?
The worst quarterbacks in the league.
Like, oh my God, please don't watch this game. Moving on. Okay, this game should be good. San Francisco Bucks in Tampa Bay, another West Coast team going to the East Coast. It seems a bit of a theme this week, right? So we could see a lot of crazy games. I think the Bucks just have a weird way of winning games this year, and I think San Francisco does too. So it's like, who gets the weird and wacky win this week?
But this is the fantastic war of attrition game right here. You have the San Francisco 49ers, who are without Kittle, Purdy, Ayuk is still out, of course. CMC is still there. But their other wide receivers are questionable, right? Now you find out this week, verified with Tampa, that they have Godwin, Evans, and Irving. They're all ruled out. You got Baker, so it's going to be a really fun game where it's just going to be coaching matters for this game. And we believe in Shanahan. We believe in the Niners head coach. He's already proven how good he is. And for the Bucks, it's been. Maybe it's not so much coaching. Maybe a part of that is Baker, because he's had the coaching to where now he's the coach out there on the field, and him and Egbuka, that's a blessing. But yeah, this is going to be a fantastic war of attrition right here with two decimated offenses, and it's still going to be a fun ass game to watch.
Honestly, I think if you take away the Super Bowls, which is the Atlanta offensive coordinator and the two San Francisco Super Bowls he lost, like Kyle Shanahan is pretty clearly the second best coach in the NFL behind Andy Reid, right? And those Super Bowl performances have not kind of done anything for his legacy. But I mean, dude, Mac Jones was awful in New England. He was awful when he went to the Jags. And then, surprise, surprise, he's fantastic, right?
No, he wasn't awful. He was actually able to make the number one wide receiver for Jacksonville relevant last year, Brian Thomas Jr.
I mean, to a point, yes. Okay, so awful is maybe a strong word, but like he looked like a career backup, and now he looks like he can start in the NFL because he's in the Shanahan system. Because anyone in the Shanahan system looks like they can be an NFL starter until they go to another team. Yes, I'm talking about you, Jimmy Garoppolo.
And all the media has been talking trash about how Shanahan's not a good coach and he can't win Super Bowls and whatever. And I'm like, dude, bro,
I don't understand that. And like, I can understand San Francisco getting to a point where they're just like, okay, we've had 12 years of great football, but we want to win a Super Bowl. We don't think we're going to win it with Shanahan. Let's move on.
Dougie, bring on your puppy. Let us see the puppy.
Yeah. He just ran away.
The people want to see the puppy.
Show the people's elbow and the puppy. But Shanahan is, to me, clearly without question a top 3 coach in the NFL. And if you don't think so, you just don't pay attention. He can do so much with so little on that offense, and that scheme is great. Oh, there's the puppy.
There's the puppy.
And the puppy's wearing red, which San Francisco Buccaneer red looks like 49er red. I'm picking the 49ers in this game.
I'm going to be an optimist. I'm going to say that's Buccaneer with the black.
Oh, true. Okay, fair enough. Going Buccaneers. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, Bengals and Packers. Let's talk about that later. We're going to talk about that when we get to Packer Bear talk, because I got a lot to say about this game, and I'm terrified about it. So let's go on to maybe the game of the week, the most obvious game of the week that could be great or could be awful. We got Lions at Chiefs. Now, Lions went into Kansas City last year, gave them their one loss of the year, by the way, was against the Lions last year, right? Lions look like they're an unstoppable force yet again, but Kansas City's offense looks like it's back up to speed. Now they did lose to Jacksonville, so it's like, which version of Kansas City are we going to get? Because I got to tell you guys, Patrick Mahomes, still makes a lot of mistakes, still doesn't look like the all-time greatest quarterback that people say he is.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to make a mistake in this game, and the Lions just feast on that like Lions do. And I think the Lions go into Kansas City and win. But if they don't, I'll be happy. Dude, I always want the Chiefs to lose, but not this game. I want the Chiefs to win, which is why I know they won't, because we need the Lions to lose. So I definitely think the Lions are going in to win this game. Hype, what do you think?
This is my game of the week. I circled it. This is when we find out, are the Lions a legit, because a lot of people have the Lions as their like number one power ranked team right now because of how all the other teams have looked.
Right.
Because all the other teams have had like bad games or just looked weak at some point. The Lions did the first game, but then since then they've been pretty dang good. And but this is the thing, is the question of Mahomes magic, where he always like, we're down a touchdown, I'm going to come back and make some crazy 80-yard bomb or some dumb thing happen that shouldn't happen. Can the Mahomes magic overcome the Lions' just consistency of being good and being like a team that doesn't make mistakes and stuff? But really, the thing is like Kansas City's defense last year was really good. Maybe the Kansas City's defense can show up and put some pressure on Goff and make him make some mistakes. Maybe Chris Jones and them. This is going to be like a litmus test of like who is a good playoff team and that can make a run maybe.
Yeah, the Kansas City defense, they haven't been what they've been historically for the last 3-4 years. They've floundered quite a bit. They're 2-3 for a reason. Again, part of that's, you don't have all of your weapons on offense, but the other half of that is definitely the defense. Don't get me wrong. Spags is amazing as a coach. But Chris Jones seems like he's an older D tackle, and maybe maybe he's just at the point where he's like, I'm just going to rest for the first half of the season. That don't matter. I'm going to be in playing shape in the second half, which may very well be the case. But I think that the Lions are just going to come in and they're just going to smack them around. The Lions have dominated teams for the last 4 weeks. Like you said, Mahomes magic, and Mahomes, they'll get the magic once they get Rashid Rice back in 2 weeks. But until then, he's playing a little bit shorthanded. He has no running game to rely on. Yeah. So I think Hutchinson's going to be able to pin his ears back, and then he's going to have those linebackers just to help protect him to tackle the running back. So I think this is going to be
Xavier
fantastic
out for the game. Maybe he's missing some of his players.
Yeah. So, all right. So the Lions have beat the Bears, the Browns, the Bengals, and the Ravens when they had Lamar. Don't get me wrong, but the Ravens
none of them are heavyweights.
None of them have good defenses. Well, no, the Browns do. But in that Browns-Lions game, Joe Flacco couldn't wait to throw an interception. He had a multitude of turnovers that basically ruined the game for the Browns multiple times. So,
but the Chiefs have lost to the Chargers, the Eagles, the Jags. They did beat the Giants and the same Ravens. So they don't really have any signature wins either. So I think this is.
I agree. So the Ravens will just throw that one out. So the Chiefs have beat the Giants. Okay.
And that's it.
That was Russell Wilson Giants though. Okay. Totally different Giants team.
And they only scored 22 points.
Yeah. And so the Lions have beaten the Browns and the Bengals, which, no Burrow Bengals. So I don't know. Are the Lions as good as we think they are? They've played some pretty bad defenses. And again, Cleveland is a good defense, but they got a bunch of short fields in that game, and they did still look good, though. So I'm not saying they didn't look good. But I'm curious to see what the Lions do, because I'm kind of with you, Dave. I think they should go in there and put 35 on this defense, 30 to 35 points on this defense. If they don't, for some reason, then maybe it was, who they were playing more than, okay, they're the exact machine that we thought they were. But the Lions have been really good about this, is destroying bad football teams. They are really good at destroying bad football teams. So this is a litmus test too.
And they're good at beating up tight ends. So Travis Kelce, watch out.
Is Kansas City a bad football team? Now, the Lions are missing some guys on defense, especially in the secondary. So I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to put up some points in this game. But is the offensive machine going to take over for the Lions? I'm curious to see that, right?
The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 right now, and they're at home.
Yeah, so it's basically like it's 3 at home, so it's half a point. This is a push game. Yeah, because I don't think anybody knows what to think about Kansas City right now. Are they really good? Is this the norm?
And the Chiefs, I think, are better at home too.
They generally are. I mean, most
But
good teams are.
But yeah, I just don't think that defense is going to be able to handle the offense of the Lions.
Yeah, it seems like it. But
Again, it's going to be up to Chris Jones. Chris Jones is going to be the MVP of the game. It won't be Mahomes. It's all on Chris Jones for this game. So
I kind of agree. It's on the Kansas City defense to win this game, if they could win this game. All right, moving on to Monday night games. All right, we'll talk Bears Commanders later because we're going to do our Bears Packer talk. So let's talk Buffalo Atlanta. Now, this seems like an obvious Buffalo win, but I don't think it is. I think Atlanta is going to make this a game, and Buffalo's run defense is atrocious. It's so bad. And what does Atlanta do? They run the ball really well. They don't pass the ball so well. Michael Penix does not look good, and he has kind of disappointed me because I thought he was going to be a lot better. But, dude, they can run the football. So if Atlanta just dominates this game and runs the football and the Bills get one turnover, I mean, they could definitely lose this game. That's basically what happened against the Patriots, right? Drake May did make some good plays, but I don't know if the Bills can stop Bijan, man. I don't know if they can do it because, man, they have gotten run all over every single game. I mean, the Ravens had 240 yards on them, and then the magic happened where they won that game. The Patriots were moving the ball on them. They were doing smart plays, and I worry about the Bills defense finding a way to lose this game. I'm still picking the Bills to win, but I think this is going to be actually a pretty good Monday night game.
And you know who the leading receiver is, don't you, for the Falcons?
Is it London or Kyle Pitts?
Neither.
Bijan.
Is it Bijan?
Yeah, by 1 yard.
Oh, still, yeah.
He has 23 target. He has 270 yards. Drake London has 269.
Fair enough.
Robinson, London, and Pitts all have only one touchdown.
Right.
Which is pretty ridiculous. How you have, Michael Penix. We were excited for what he did at the end of the last season, but yeah, those are the only 3 touchdowns he's thrown. He has 3 picks. Maybe they've, tried to just put a governor on him just because, his accuracy might not be so great. And one thing that we talked about last week about one of the good things about the Bills playing the Patriots was Drake May didn't make dumb plays. He let them stay in the game, knowing that they're going against a good defense. You just allow yourself to hang around. How tight is a collar or how tight is a leash going to be on Michael Penix? Are they just going to say, no, we're just going to try Bijan, try to run this game out, see if we can still be in the fourth? Or are they finally going to say, all right, maybe we'll let this be your breakout game, Penix? So
I think when you're playing Josh Allen, the more you can run the ball, the better. Keep him on the sideline as long as possible. I think running the ball is the best strategy for Atlanta in general. And I think especially against the Bills offense, the longer you can keep Josh Allen on the sideline, the better chance you have to win. That seems like old school mentality, but dude, any team that can pull that off, I mean, the team with Bijan can do it, and like Atlanta's run the ball really well all year. So I think they need to continue. So I'm still picking the Bills though. Hype, what do you think in that game?
Yeah, we have all these trap games. I feel like this is 2025's trap year. You know what I mean? Like every game is a trap game. Doesn't matter. You could be the Falcons and be playing so terrible, and then the next week you could be the Bills. Like, I feel like that's the kind of NFL season we have. Like Richard Goodell is just like counting his money right now, and he's like, yes, every game is exciting. Every game you just don't know anything could happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his cousin Roger is the one who's managing the NFL.
Well, that's true. This game could be really interesting, and it's kind of like we watch games now to figure out, are these teams legit or not? Like, are the Bills legit? Are they actually good? That's kind of what I feel like is happening right now in the NFL. Like, who's going to step up and be an established like front running team? Because everybody's just getting knocked down a peg. Like, what's going to happen when the dust settles? So I could easily see, especially on a Monday Night Football, I could easily see this being an upset. I mean, we saw what happened in the Bills-Patriots game. Like, how in the world did the Bills look so bad in that game?
Just last Friday, guys, we were saying, the Bills and the Eagles got their divisions wrapped up, right? Yeah. We were just last Friday because they were both undefeated. And the Eagles have lost 2 games since then. And it's like, that doesn't look wrapped up to me. I don't know if the Commanders are great. But, I mean, who knows what the Giants could do going forward? Like, I don't know if the Eagles got that division wrapped up anymore. And the Bills, I think, are one injury away from not being a good football team. So I'm a little worried about them, too. But
yeah,
yeah,
imagine like if Josh Allen, he's running for his life all the time. He could easily be injured in all this running he's doing. Like he's a big guy, obviously. And he's
Well,
running, people stiff arming him.
That's kind of the interesting thing I wanted to talk about is the rookie class that the Falcons got. So they have a defensive-minded head coach, right? So in the draft, they went after Jalen Walker, James Pierce. So 2 smaller edge rushers, right? Because that's always been their Achilles heel. They can't get any pressure on the quarterback. So they get edge rushers, but they're both kind of little fast guys compared to, Josh freaking Allen. So he might be able to just do a stiff arm. But on the back end of that, Xavier Watts, who they took in the 3rd round, the safety out of Notre Dame, he's leading the team in interceptions.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a really interesting class, and I think this is going to help us to see what is the Falcons defense going to be able to do against, because they don't have elite wide receivers, but they have an elite quarterback in Buffalo. So I think that's where it's going to be interesting watching the chess game. But again, like you said earlier, Neckbeard, watching, try to do run control game, as few possessions as possible. But yeah, it's really going to be fun to see how those edge rushers do against Josh Allen. Are they going to be able to break him down, pull him down, or is he going to be able to just break a bunch of tackles, prolong plays? And
yeah, to be fair, Josh Allen can get out of pretty much anybody's tackle. But like, I see what you're saying. I'd much rather have a fast guy that can at least make him adjust or make him do something instead of a big guy he can outrun. Do you know what I mean? So like,
sure.
That's when he's the most dangerous, when he's running out there and he has a clear point of vision to either throw down the field or run. At least if it's a fast guy, he's got to like either stiff arm or adjust so he can't like throw the ball.
Yeah, you want him to come around in his blind spot and like maybe cause a fumble or something when versus like.
But yeah, and that can also be the 1-2 punch where you have the fast guy, so it puts a little bit of pressure. So he throws it, and that's why Xavier Watts is doing so good. That safety with the picks. So
yeah, I think this will be a fun game. Yeah, it'll be a fun game. So we'll be recording when it's on, obviously. So we'll have some thoughts about it then. But yeah, this is, dude.
I'm not going to be watching that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you watch it. Screw the Bears. No, okay. So that is this week so far, I think, is my favorite slate of games that I've seen so far, because we're in week 6, and I think we have no idea who the best teams are really still right now, right? And I think that's awesome. I think that's great.